Hi there. That took a while to go live today. This is Tech Talk Weekly. I'm Bob from Creation Station. This is the weekly show where we spend about 20 minutes or so talking about 4 or 5 cool tech science stories in the news this week. We have Miss Autumn from Creation Station Science again today. How are you feeling out there? This is the reason we're doing it this year this way, so that everybody gets to see everybody multiple times.
And yeah, it would have been someone else, but I forgot.
Okay.
So when I forget, who else is
You
gonna be
take
on my
responsibility,
staff?
just like any good manager does. That's
It's
exactly
gonna be
right.
me. And I'm not shy to say, hey, I forgot.
You're a good
Surprise.
boss. That's why.
Okay, sure.
Sure, we'll call it that, because somebody has to take charge, because we've got stories today of people who are not very smart in charge. So,
No.
no.
The title of this article.
I know. So
Boo.
everybody should have seen over the last couple of weeks, there's been this story about this asteroid that was going to hit Earth and destroy a small city. It wasn't that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. If it would have hit, horrible things would have happened to a small select group of people, which is bad, but it's not the planet buster type of thing for dinosaurs, etc. The interesting thing about this was that we found it so early that we could actually start detecting it and figuring out what we could possibly do, etc. And then it surprised a lot of scientists and the public, as every time they kept checking, the chances of it happening went up and up and up. And if you ask anybody who plays any games, especially role-playing games, you know that a 2% is going to happen.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. 2% is going to happen more often than you think. And this thing got close to 4. And then they got James Webb out there to take some better looks at it and get some really good stuff.
And Jim said, nah, we're good.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. So this one, the trajectory is not going to hit us this time around.
Yet.
It is still worthwhile tracking, because these things go in big, huge orbits around the sun.
Yeah, but we won't have to worry about the next time, so it's fine.
Well, we won't be alive next time, correct?
Exactly.
It'll be a long time before it comes.
That's somebody else's problem.
But I do want to point out that, hey, those very smart people at NASA who launched this thing and put those all up there are the ones who were in charge of doing all this stuff. And, oh, by the way, yesterday, a bunch of them got fired. So good luck finding that next one.
Hey. At least we won't know it when it's coming.
Just saying. Yeah, maybe we just don't know it's coming. It's going to be a thing.
So basically, for anybody who saw the movie Don't Look Up, this is it.
Well,
they knew it was coming. And
I always trust you on the movie thing. So
yeah, I know.
I haven't seen an asteroid movie since Armageddon.
Wow.
That's got to be, what, 30 plus years?
Yeah, it was in the 90s. Yeah.
Okay.
97?
I don't know.
Hold on. No, maybe it was 98 or 99, because I'm like, oh.
I'll take your word for it.
And then the other one, Deep Impact.
Did not see that. Oh man, how many movies do you really want me to see? Come on now. So
98,
our next story.
It was 98, by the way.
98. Okay,
I had to look it up.
So our next story today is all about trees. Tell us, Autumn, what do you have out there that's all about trees at Creation Station Science?
I have trees. Hold on, I got the thing here. Where is it? Here it is. I see. Had I looked at the articles, I would have known to been prepared for this, but I didn't. So I have my thingy.
Awesome. See,
Globe Observer trees. Ow, my hand itches. Sorry.
Which is
one of our one-sheet citizen science kits about canopy cover and trees in your area.
And it's
because I've listened to you describe it enough, Bob. That's the only reason I know.
Thank you. Excellent. That's a very good thing. And seriously, folks, if you can you should be able to download that from our library website. And if not, Global Tree Observer is available on scistarter.org. And you can do this and do your own citizen science to help with trees. It ties into the story that I found this week, and that's one of the reasons why.
Oh my God, is that story from Coral Springs?
It is a story from Coral Springs about saving trees, maybe the wrong trees.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Cut them all down.
This is oh man. So this is why that citizen science is very important, because if you go out there and you take these photos and you upload them to NASA's website, see the tie-ins? I can do this. That happens to give them all the data they need to track the types of trees and where trees are and what the tree cover is now, so that in the future, if there's a hurricane, if there's a flood, if there's a wildfire, then they will know what trees were there and can help figure out how to replant the correct types of trees. Or in this case, in the city of Coral Springs, where our Northwest Regional Library is located, it has too many cabbage palm trees and too many live oak trees in the city, because as a percentage, you don't want too many of one species of tree, because if one gets infected, it could wipe out a larger chunk of the tree canopy and the tree population, because one bug would hit all of those same types of trees. It's not happening in this city, but it's something that the city arborist rose at a meeting and made the news. It was like, hey guys, we have a little bit too much of these two types of trees and we need to diversify. Diversity is a good thing. Huh, Autumn?
It is. So this is interesting because I know you have had my neighbor down the street, Clay, from who's Mr. Gardening.
He was on our gardening show in season 3.
Not really a tree person. However, he does know a lot about trees and such. And I was speaking with his wonderful wife as she was walking past my house. And we were discussing how the palm trees we all know and love here are not native species, and they're actually kind of awful for our environment down here.
Yeah.
So that includes our coconut palms, our queen palms, like all of these tall, beautiful palm trees.
That are not native to South Florida.
Mm-mm.
And
so we have to learn how to better landscape.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why in this article, it's the live oaks are fine. There are no known local diseases in Florida that affect live oak, so we're pretty safe with that. But the palm trees are. And some of the other species of palm trees like it are already infected with other diseases.
I have stuff dying in my backyard.
Yeah.
Because my queen palm, it's been dead for a while, and birds live in it now because I have woodpeckers.
That's what you need. We need dead trees around because
it's just chilling.
It's part of the environment, and we just have to be careful for wildfires.
As long as it doesn't fall on my house, I'm cool. It can be there as long as it wants.
Well, I'm glad you're thinking about that, because you need, getting back to the top of
vitamin B12.
Yeah, vitamin B12. So if you follow recommendations and everything, you're supposed to take certain vitamins, etc., for healthy living. It's one of the good things that people out there at the National Institute for Health have done, is encouraging people to take some vitamins. However, I know this show's just gone off. I know. But so it turns out there's a real honest to goodness study that came out in early February, that they just released all the details, and the paper just came out, which is why we can put it out there. And of course, the paper is in the show notes, a direct link, and I will interpret all the graphs for you. And effectively what it means is you can have enough vitamin B12 in your system if you were to do a blood test, but not enough vitamin B12 in your body overall unless you actually test your brain. And you need vitamin B12 for your brain to help the neurons connect and regrow and build things and help stop Alzheimer's.
We're not testing brain.
We're not testing brains.
That's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt a lot. So there's
not the brain itself. It's just going to hurt getting to it.
Oh, it's going to hurt to do the brain thing too. But what happens is it's how it ages, how your brain ages, and how the life, what's not life cycle, what is it? The duration of how long something is good for, the
Half-Life?
yes, half-life of B12 in
Shelf
your
life?
system.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's effectively the half-life of B12 in your system.
I was right.
So it's figuring out where those go. So effective.
Man.
The takeaway that I got from reading this whole, please, unless you're really, really into this stuff, don't go read
No.
this.
Because you don't know half of what they're
This
saying.
paper gets a little intense, because you really have to know all the different protein stuff they're talking about, and I don't.
No.
Take more vitamin B12 is the takeaway. Even if the daily recommended dose is whatever, you should be taking at
You
least
don't have enough.
or more, because you probably don't have enough in the spots in your body where it counts. I just wanted to point out that there's some good stuff happening there. You know, I knew we had some bad stories about things that the government's not quite on par with that I'd like to see happen, but hey, we've got some other good ones.
We are actually in a really good place for B12 consumption.
Really?
I'm just looking stuff up because sometimes if you take it and it's been processed and you're taking it in a pill form, sometimes you wind up peeing that out, right? So you should take your supplements, but also
know how to use them.
Well, it's not just that, but also eat foods that are rich in those things.
Yes.
And
exactly.
a lot of seafood is rich in B12. Things like clams. I have an issue with octopus, but, you know, because it's probably smarter than me. Oysters, mussels.
How about squid?
I don't see squid.
See, I do squid over octopus.
Eel? No, thanks. I'm on board with you. Cuttlefish.
Yeah, no. Cuttlefish and octopus.
No, they're super smart, but they taste good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's on you. So
anyway,
no, that's actually a decent little.
I mean, also like beef and tofu and salmon and all of these.
Okay, I can go with having an extra steak tonight. Thanks. Actually, wow, you just made a totally different segue right there.
Boom.
Because I was going with the whole science and genes thing, and now we're on to the here's what you should be eating and stay on a diet. And did you know that?
Yes, I did. No.
Good. Tell me.
I have no idea. I didn't read this. Come on.
Because the headline for this article, and it goes in much more depth into humans and Neanderthals and potential breeding in between the two species, etc.
Duh.
But of course it had to happen. However, buried down deep in this article is a thing that I was blown away with, because let me see if I can find it again. Yes, I can. There we go. Did you know that we have a venomous lizard living in the United States?
I mean, no, but I'm not surprised.
Gila monsters. Out there in the desert, in the southwest United States, out in the desert.
Man, we talked about this morning. Why didn't I remember? Anyway, whatever.
Because go ahead. It's a very cool thing. And scientists from NIH commissioned studies for this, and it paid off, and the private industry found chemicals in a Gila monster that they turned into Ozempic and other types of drugs like that. Because of how the toxins and the individual molecules of toxins interact with other pieces of your body, etc., they turned it into a weight loss drug. Now,
because of course they did. I mean, not that it's more that they turned it into something that they can make a lot of money.
That they could make a lot of money for. I agree.
That's not a commentary on a weight loss drug at all. Yep. It's something they can charge an outrageous amount for. That's
yes. So, I mean, that is the thing that leaped out to me while I was reading this article. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. And let's make sure it's family friendly and safe to be able to put a thing about how for the last 40,000 years is the only time in human history where it was only other humans that we were mating with. Prior to that, we had at least 2 other species that we were.
There's a lot, though.
Well, there was.
There's so many, like but there's not enough pieces of them.
Right.
That you can
There's a lot of known
do like that
close relatives.
ish.
The number that we can prove have their genes mixed into the current Homo sapiens is only 2. And it turns out it's only been 40,000 years, less time than some of the archaeology stuff that's out there.
Yeah, they were hanging out. They were
Yeah.
chilling.
Yeah. That they were mating, breeding, however you want to phrase it at that point. Language was just being developed at the time. So there was communication going back and forth for consent, we hope. But it was amazing to me to read some of this stuff and see all the little pieces like, oh yeah, from the funding of this study, we found this, and the funding of this other study, we found this. And now here's these 25 different concepts that we need to take into account to define a species. And here's how they all work for Homo sapiens and Neanderthals and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just like, wow, this is awesome.
I would wonder, it's like, do things work better on those who have higher?
That is something that would require long-term funding from like, some kind of science organization in the United States, from the U.S.
or
government.
somewhere else.
Yeah, well, or somewhere else. And to be fair, I mean, we've been knocking the U.S. government chaos this show a lot, but there are other places. Europe is doing an amazing job in some of this
Other people
research,
fund
too.
research. It's
And-
not just,
exactly.
we're not it. We're
Right.
not the only
Right
one.
now, we just happen to not be on the ball on how to do this. But we're going to get back to that, I hope. And a lot of these things are paying off for everybody around the planet, which is the important thing, because as other people pick up the mantle and do more research, hopefully we will be able to pick up those pieces from them also and do that. And then, what do you see, Autumn?
Well, it kind of looks like a butterfly.
Okay. Why do you think it's a butterfly?
I don't know. Looks like it's got wings.
See, and that is an interesting thing, because humans can see a picture, an image, an inkblot, a Rorschach test, and our minds try to put the pieces together to connect the chaos of a random image into something that is coherent for us, that we feel we can understand what's going on.
Something that we know.
Yeah.
It's like whatever, I can't remember what it's called, when you see faces in things.
Yep, it's the same. This is the exact same thing.
I
This
don't
is
know.
the exact. It is, seriously.
No, there's a term, but I don't know. I don't remember what it is.
Oh man, now you're gonna make me read this story again just to get the term for you.
Ha ha ha.
Dum, bum, bum, dum.
Or
Oh,
you
shit.
can go on and I'll just look it up.
Yeah. So in any case, the reason we're talking about Rorschach tests and inkblots is they applied them to AI now.
That's weird.
AI doesn't think. AI can't.
So far as we know.
It can't yet. It's getting
So far as
closer.
we know.
We're getting closer now.
Would
we're
it
never-
tell us if it
Okay, that's the point. We'll never know, because once AI gets smart enough to know, it will be smart enough to know not to tell us, or we'll make it do more work. So we'll never know that it's too smart.
That's how you know it's human like.
Yeah, there you go. So the idea is, what would you do with this if you don't have a personality, if you don't have that innate ability to find the face in the cloud, as you were speaking about? So it is a thing of, by the way, if for any of our viewers out there, many people call it a butterfly. Some people call it a moth. And there are very distinct groups of people who do both.
As a butterfly. Anyway,
Okay.
explain to me why you're wrong.
Explain to me why. I personally don't see a butterfly either.
That's
I don't
just-
see a moth either.
You're not
on
outside that
these
much.
things.
So shut up.
Oh man, I'm outside all the time. I do a lot of stuff.
Just look like butterflies in my backyard. So whatever.
I agree. But for me, butterflies aren't the shape on the outside. It's the color and markings on the wings. And because this is flat and blah, it looks like spilled milk.
You need to see somebody about that.
Well, that's Wait till you see our surprise we have for upcoming for summer learning and some fancy new glasses.
So it's called. I'm probably slaughtering this, by the way.
Tell me.
Pareidolia.
Yes, thank you very much.
Whatever. Anyway.
So again,
It's a
this is an
butterfly.
extremely long article again, and this whole idea is that the algorithms are very good at spotting patterns, don't spot patterns in here. And algorithms that have to make up more things find patterns. Just like humans.
I mean, don't we
So
make
if
up
you
bugs?
overtrain your AI to be too specific, it won't work on Rorschach tests.
So I mean, I suppose, I mean, we usually paint with broad strokes when we say AI. Most of the time, I mean, they are trained for a specific purpose.
Yep.
Like this one is used to recognize license plates. Of course, it's not going to see a butterfly because it doesn't know what that is, you know? So it's all dependent on
You would see the state of New Jersey.
It's all dependent on what it is trained on
Uh-huh.
and what its purpose is.
Yeah.
Now, if you fed it a bunch of Rorschach tests, let's see what happens.
Which is what they did. Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of the weird. Yeah. And it's an interesting concept of you can be too smart. You could, it's the same thing in humans. If you've done all this training in a particular field, that doesn't mean you're good at all fields. It just means you're good at that one field.
That's like, I mean, here's another movie reference. It's like Rain Man, right? Now that's a specific condition that you saw that one, right? Please tell me you did.
Sorry.
God.
I do know the toothpick thing. I do know those kinds of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's really good at that thing.
Yeah.
He's very not good at everything else.
Yeah. Lots of
things.
Active communication. Yeah.
So
I would say maybe that's my thing. I'm just good at talking. Nah. I just do it a lot. That's all.
It doesn't mean you're good at it.
Exactly. Does not mean I'm good at it.
You do it a lot.
So, and with that, we will leave everybody till next week. If there's a story you want to see covered on the show, creationstation@broward.org. Reach out. We'll see everybody later.